Evening all. Deepai, back again. So it's finished at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 0. Now this was a very, very, very frustrating performance. We were 1-0 down within the first 2 minutes of the game. Very poor back pass to Gabriel by Cedric, which was picked up by Traore, crossed into the box, picked up first time by Ollie Watkins, takes a shot, clips off of Rob Holding, past Ryan, into the back of the net, 1-0 Aston Villa. Apparently, I think I was seeing on social media that it took 73 seconds for a goal to be conceded past Matt Ryan, which I felt quite sorry for him for because he had a pretty decent game after that. Now, the thing that's frustrating is that obviously being that Aston Villa took the lead 2 minutes into the game, it meant that we had 89 minutes plus whatever stoppage time at the end of the first half and the second half to get back into the game. The first half was a complete bore. We literally offered nothing at all. Like no creativity whatsoever. We just get to the final third and we were just poor, just ridiculously poor. I think there's a few people that have said this, but like it felt as it, and it's been happening a lot this season, and especially in the bad period, which is why this is probably the reason why a lot of Arsenal fans are having the extreme reaction that they're having. But I'll come on to that later. But basically, we get to the final third, kind of like we're playing okay. I wouldn't say we're playing well, and I wouldn't say we're playing poor, but we're playing okay. We get into a position where we're outside their area in the final third, and that final cutting edge, that final pass to the player that's going to score you the goal doesn't come. For whatever reason, it doesn't come. And the funny thing is, and this is the thing that annoys me with that, is that people always have been saying this season specifically, oh, it's because Arteta doesn't know how he's setting up his team, he's out of his depth, blah, blah, blah. All the usual Arteta out shit that you get. I don't think it's that, because I was seeing that in Unai Emery performances. I was seeing that in Arsene Wenger performances. I just think it's a club thing. It's an overall mentality. I've said it for years and years and years, to the amount of like football fans and Arsenal fans and Man United fans and Chelsea fans that talk to me about Arsenal. I have been saying we have been in decline since 2006. And I'm not saying because we left Highbury, because that would just be, again, an easy target to say, oh, because we moved to a big stadium. Excuse me. It's not just that. We have been in decline since 2006. I'll say it again. We have been in decline since 2006. It's now got to a stage whereby we are just a mediocre team. That's what's happened. We have now got to a stage where we are now just a mediocre team. We are a mid-table side, a Europa League side at best at this moment in time. And it's frustrating. As someone that grew up and became an Arsenal fan in 1997, when we were rivaling the Premier League with Manchester United, in 2006, we got to a Champions League final. We were dominant in places in the Champions League before that, and to some extent after that as well. It's gotten to a stage now where we are just a mid-table team, and like I said the other day, this just seems to be the way of things. Look at Liverpool in the 70s and 80s; they were the dominant force. They were the dominant team. You know. They were the dominant team, and then they dropped away. They became a mid-table Europa League team, or what, UEFA Cup team as they were back then. And look at them now. They've gone into this league as the champions. It's not going too well for them at the moment, but still, they're a much better team than they were 5-6 years ago, even with the players they had 5-6 years ago, who were really good, you know, like Dirk Kuyt and Steven Gerrard and people like that. Like, they were still a force to be reckoned with. You didn't really want to go to Anfield very often. And this is the problem. And the thing that frustrates me even more is just the fact that, like, our fans don't seem to recognise that. It's the same thing with Man United fans as well. I think Man United, but the difference is with Man United, they've got more resource to go out and buy, you know, the next big thing or the biggest thing at the moment, even though they're not playing him in Donny van de Beek. But with Arsenal, it's like Arsenal fans just don't seem to recognise that we're just not that good anymore. We're not the team that was Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp, Emmanuel Petit, Mark Overmars, Tony Adams, Sol Campbell, Martin Keown, Robert Pires, Thierry Henry, Gilberto, Vieira. We're not that team anymore. And the team where we were okay was the one with Nasri, Fabregas, Wilshere, and even that was kind of like just teetering above mediocre because we were still getting into the top four. And yes, Wenger should have gone. Wenger should have gone after the FA Cup against the FA Cup final against Hull. He should have gone. But I feel, and I'm not saying that he should come back or anything like that. I'm not one of these deluded people that thinks that, like, things would be better if Arsene Wenger came back. We've moved on from that. But, and another thing I used to say to people when I discuss football is, when Arsene Wenger leaves Arsenal, that is when you will see how far we have fallen. And it was going there when he was there. It was on that we were on the road to that when he was there. And now we are seeing it. And it's not the manager's fault. It wasn't Unai Emery's fault, and it's not Mikel Arteta's fault. It's the direction the club is taking us. And some of the decisions that people are making above the managers are probably part of the reason why we're here. Why this issue is happening. These issues are happening. I've gone off a bit of a tangent, but there isn't really much to say about this game. To be fair, the second half we picked up quite a bit. I mean, I think we dominated the second half. I can safely say that in terms of, like, possession. Again, in the final third, we didn't really create too much. There's a few refereeing decisions that I'm not going to sit here and do what a lot of people do and blaming the referees, because that's just daft. You know, it's probably a contributing factor, but I don't think it's the reason why we lost the game. I think this has been something that has been instilled into this team for a long, long, long time. And the sooner our fans wake up to that, the better. But anyway, back to the game. So, yeah, and second half, we did better in terms of possession, but as I say, we didn't create much. We didn't really create too much. Odegaard looked good when he came on. He came on for Cedric early in the second half. The only thing... Then, Willian came on as well for Partey, who had gone down injured, which is ridiculous. The guy had never been injured for Atletico Madrid, and now 4 times this season he's been injured for us. Again, it's a deep-rooted thing. This is the thing. People don't look at the bigger picture. They just point, it's your fault. I've got to look for someone to blame. There's a bigger picture. This is the problem that people have. They just don't understand that, like, it isn't just one thing. It's a multitude of things. And the sooner we accept, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard to say, oh, well, I accept that my football, the team I supported, the team I love is a mid-table team. Just accept it. The best thing to do is just accept it. I'm angry that we lost. I wanted to win the game, obviously, like I do all the time. But I don't get pissed off about it. I don't sit there and go on Twitter and start berating players and being abusive and talking like it's the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, I've got better things to do than worry about the fact that Arsenal lost. I'll just wait until the next game. The next game next week against Leeds, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, the Willian choice, I'd actually say, I'd probably agree with most people to say that was probably a bad decision from Arteta. And I was watching AFTV before I came on to record this, and I heard Robbie say, oh, I think it's something written in his contract where he has to play. I actually agree with you, Robbie. If you ever hear this, I agree with you. Because the guy has played shit all season, and still gets played. And I think it's a bad signing. I had a brief debate with someone on Twitter who said to me that, because I was saying how signings like Kim Kallstrom and Dennis Suarez are sort of worse, or if not equivalently worse to the Willian signing. And he made a good point. He said, well, we've got this guy for 3 years now and we're going to be paying him to play like that. And I said, well, look, he might not play like that for the whole 3 years. And he made another good point. He said that who do you know that's 32, that's a winger, that doesn't get worse rather than better, or who doesn't decline? And that's a fair point. But at the end of the day, like, he's not gonna play every single game going forward. The other thing is that, like, from my opinion, like, I'm happy to accept that it's not going well for Willian at the moment, because of the fact that we've actually managed to get away a lot, to get rid of a lot of players like Ozil, Mustafi, Socrates, Kolasinac. Last season we got rid of Mkhitaryan. So I'm willing to kind of like let this one go, as long as it doesn't happen again, as long as we don't have a situation where, I don't know, we sign Diego Costa, which I heard was a rumour in the January transfer window, like Diego Costa, or who's another like rival reject, I don't know, Eric Lamela or someone like that, even though Eric Lamela is still kind of a little bit of a mainstay at Tottenham. But you understand what I mean, that like if it happens again where we signed another kind of like bench warmer from another team, which is weird with Willian because he wasn't really a bench warmer. But anyway, I don't know what it is. I don't know why he's playing so badly. I just think that he's being used as a scapegoat now. And he has played shit, but I just don't think that we should be saying, oh, the reason why we lost is because Willian came on. I think it was a bad decision because of his form, but I don't think it's the reason we lost the game. We were just devoid of ideas. We had one of those, and it just feels as if we're still, what's the word, like having the fallout from the Wolves game. There was just nothing there. Aubameyang came on, did fuck all. And people are going to be saying the thing they said about Ozil, oh, ever since he signed his contract, he's done nothing. Which is true to a certain extent. But there must be something else going on. You don't know what's going on in these players' heads, but it's at detriment to the team. There's only really 2 players, I would say, maybe 3, that I would say can hold their heads up today and say that they performed. That would be Matt Ryan, who, and he couldn't really do anything because it was deflected off of Holding, so there wasn't really anything he could do about the goal. Apart from that, he had a blinding game. At least 2 or 3 really, really good saves. He looks like, I'm so glad that Arsenal went out and got him, because if Rinison was there, I would have been worried. I would have backed the guy, but I would have been worried. Odegaard, because I felt he was trying to create something. I didn't really think it was a good idea to have him and Smith Rowe on the pitch, but anyway. But yeah, I thought he played well. People may disagree with me, but I thought he played well. He had a shot that glared over the bar. If he just took his time with it, it could have been a goal. And he looked bright. He looked like he was willing. He was ready to try and create things. And the other one was Granit Xhaka. And I know there's probably going to be people, if there are ever people that watch this, that will be like, fuck, well, what are you talking about? Granit Xhaka has been awful. But because the only reason why people hate Granit Xhaka is because of what he did at Crystal Palace a few seasons ago, when he told the fans to F off. But I think ever since Arteta's come in, apart from maybe 1 or 2 games, he's actually been all right. I mean, I see him today, and I see him being one of the few players there that wanted to fight, wanted to push forward. In the Wolverhampton game, he was up front with Aubameyang, pretty much, trying to get things done, trying to force the play. So this idea that like he's part of the dead wood, I don't see it at the moment. I mean, I don't think his long-term future is at Arsenal. But for now, he's been one of our best players recently, I think. But still. Anyway. Well, I might as well try and get into the player ratings. So, Matt Ryan, I'm going to give a 7. I explained my reasons before, so I'm not going to go over it again. Bellerin, I'm going to give a 2. I normally have a soft spot for Hector Bellerin because I feel like he gets a lot of hate, especially from like some people on AFTV that I think just hate him because he said that he doesn't like AFTV. Again, you know, it's just because they're quote unquote their egos have been hurt by the fact that this like footballer has turned around and said, I don't like what you guys do, and he's entitled to his opinion. But I feel like a lot of people on AFTV seem to go after him quite often. But today he had a really, really bad game. Like, yeah, he was just floating crosses into the box that weren't really going anywhere. Every time he got into a position to make a cross, he'd either float in and it wouldn't go. It would end up being headed away by an Aston Villa defender, or he would take too long on the ball and give the the Aston Villa player that was marking him time to block his cross. So yeah, I'll give him a 2 because he just didn't really contribute anything towards the game. Gabriel, I'll give a 6. I think he had a standard performance. I don't think there was anything that he did wrong necessarily. He came for every ball that came his way. There was a tackle he made which I can't remember, which was really good. Or he got in front of I think it was either Ollie Watkins or Jack Grealish, one of the two. But he got in front of them when they would have been away if he wasn't in position. Holding, I'm going to give a 4. Mainly because I think he could have done better for the goal. I think he could have got tighter to Ollie Watkins. And also, you know, the limp kind of leg up that he gave to try and bat away Ollie Watkins' shot is the reason why we went 1-0 down. So 4 for him. Cedric, I'll give a 2. I think I put a tweet out to my 19 followers saying that he playing like this out of protest because he's not a left back. Because yeah, he was like awful today. I'm not surprised that like he was taken off. Yeah, I'm not surprised that he was taken off. But yeah, he was awful. Didn't contribute anything. Saka, I think this has actually been one of Saka's worst games in the past couple of weeks, maybe in the last month or two. So I give him a standard 5. He was trying, but he kept, you know, misplacing the ball, you know, weighted passes that were easy to block and all this kind of thing. Partey, I'll also give a 5. I think he did quite well in places, but again, didn't really contribute too much. Pepe, I'm going to give a 3. Very disappointed with Pepe today, although he was getting in places down that left-hand side and on the right when he switched. When Saka went to left back, he's still doing that thing where he forgets where the ball is, and he's kind of like, he does so many step overs, he doesn't realise that the ball, that he sort of loses track of where the ball is, or he'll do what Theo Walcott used to do. He'll push the ball out and try and chase it like a dog. He'll try and chase it and still be chasing it when it's gone off the pitch for a goal kick. And he's just he can be just really frustrating. Like I was really happy with his performances in the last 2 or 3 games, but I think this is what we're going to get from Pepe. That we're going to get 2 or 3 games where he's really good, and then we're going to get games where he's non-existent. And these are one of these days. The only reason why I'm giving him a 3 really is because he got into some good spaces. He put in some, you know, crosses. He did all right in some places, but it just wasn't good enough. Emile Smith-Rowe, I'll give a 5. Again, I felt like he didn't really get into the game, and I felt like John McGinn had his number, or whoever it was that was marking him. I noticed that McGinn dispossessed him quite a few times, but yeah, I feel like they had his number and he couldn't play with the freedom that he has been playing since the Chelsea game. Xhaka I'll give a 6. Again, it was a standard performance from him, but I still feel like he's trying all the time to get things moving. And when the interceptions came, it mainly came from Granit Xhaka rather than Thomas Partey. Laka I'll give a 5. A good hold-up play, but again, didn't really contribute too much. Just contributed just about enough to get an average mark. Odegaard I will give a 6, even though he didn't really do too much. He looked bright, his passing was good, his movement was good, and he had a shot on target, which on another day could have gone in, and at least he was trying. Aubameyang, oh god, I feel really bad giving him this, but yeah, 0. He didn't contribute anything at all. That's it really. And then Willian 0 as well. Didn't really do anything either, apart from fall over or pass back, which is what he has been doing since the Fulham game, pretty much. But anyway, so those are my player ratings. So the next game is Leeds at home, and Leeds are a tough team to beat. We drew with them 0-0 at Elland Road, and it seems as if, you know, we're going into this game now with very, very low confidence. It feels like it's going to be November, December of 2020 all over again. We're going to be back to the situation where everyone's going to be calling for the manager's head if we lose this game. So we have to win it, because we've got Man City the following week, and, you know, Man City are in their stride at the moment, and so far since Arteta's been manager, apart from the FA Cup semi-final in the league, Pep's had his number, and so we need to beat Leeds next weekend or whenever it is. Is our next? Let me check that. Oh no, it's on Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day we have Leeds. So that must mean the FA Cup games are midweek. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so we go again. Let's see what happens. But today has been depressing, to say the least. Not just because we lost, or because of the performance, but because of the reactionary attitude from our fan base. You know, when we beat Chelsea, when we beat Newcastle, when we, you know, did that, when we beat Southampton, people were saying, oh, Arteta's turned a corner. Now all of a sudden it's Arteta out again because we've lost 2 games in a row. I was always sceptical with Arteta, to be honest, just because he's a new manager, but I'm willing to give him the time to try and turn it around. Obviously, if we finish this season at 18th, then I'd be saying, yeah, maybe we do need to get a more experienced manager in. But let me ask fans this question. If we did bring in Allegri or Rafa or someone like that, how long will it be until you do exactly the same thing that you did to Arteta and Emery and Wenger? Not very long. As soon as they lose a few games, you're going to be saying Allegri out, Rafa out, because we just haven't accepted the fact that we're not this Champions League contender team anymore. And you can look at Manchester United and you can say, oh yeah, well, Manchester United are challenging for the league. They're not challenging for the league. Just because they won 9-0 against Southampton doesn't really mean anything. Like, when it mattered, when they played teams that mattered, i.e. even us and Liverpool, they just petered out a 0-0 draw. They're not title contenders. They're only there because they're lucky and because they've got players that can win them games. They've got people like Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Harry Maguire even can. All he needs is to get on his fat head on the end of something, and you know it's 2-1 Man United. They've got game changers in that team. We have 3. And even one of them doesn't really play that much anymore, being Martinelli. And there's only really one that's firing at the moment, which is playing well at the moment, which is Saka. Aubameyang hasn't been seen since he signed his contract. So the sooner our fan base just accepts that we are now a mid-table team and we're in that period of decline, and the growth may come back tomorrow, it may come back next season, it may come back the season after, but at this moment in time we are a Europa League mid-table team. You just need to accept it, and everything will be better if you just accept it. I sound like a radio preacher or something. Anyway, that's my rant for today over. If you like this video, give it a subscribe and a like. Follow me on the socials, and I will speak to you for the Leeds preview at some point next week. Probably midweek time, around Wednesday, Thursday probably. Take care, guys. Remember, football isn't the end of the world. There are worse things going on, like a very serious pandemic. Right, take care, stay safe. Deepai signing out.